Hello everyone. Welcome to AsyncAPI Conference Day number 1. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you are having a fun-filled day. My name is Thulisile. I'm a technical writer. I'm a data scientist, and I'm a developer/open source advocate. I love advocating for women in tech, mothers in tech, and people from the underrepresented group. In today's talk, I'll be presenting to you my journey of how I broke into open source as a mother in tech. I'll be highlighting some of the challenges that I faced when I was transitioning from a non-technical background to the tech background. I'll also be highlighting how I finally got my big break after facing the struggles and stigmas. And finally, I'll be also sharing how us as the open source community can do better in supporting the people from underrepresented groups, women, and mothers in tech. So I'll be sharing how I broke from a non-technical background into tech. So in the beginning of 2020, when COVID-19 hit, the world that we knew came into shambles. Like most people out there, I lost my job and found myself at home, stranded. I didn't know where to start, where to go, where to begin. And I decided to take a retrospect in my life and see, just in case the world goes back to normal, because I still had hope that maybe later in 2020, the economy will get back to normal. COVID was just a passing thing. So I decided to take a retrospect and see if the economy were to get back to normal, maybe tomorrow, would I still want to pursue the current career that I was in? Would I still want to go back to the same work that I was doing? And I came to a conclusion that this was something that I wasn't passionate about, just something that I didn't love. But for the sake that I was able to put food on the table, I had to do it. So I decided to take the period of lockdown and decided to upskill and pursue a different career, of which I decided to go back to my first love, which was tech. Although back then, when I was still in high school, the society didn't allow women to pursue careers such as careers in tech, careers in engineering. Those things were reserved for the male counterparts. Women were supposed to have passion for things such as teaching and nursing, of which was something that I was not keen or I saw myself doing. So this is why I ended up in the hospitality industry. But then I still decided to say, okay, now that I've grown up, now that I'm in lockdown, and it's been years since I last ventured or thought about tech. Maybe the society has improved. So let me go and research and find how can I pursue my career in tech without going to school, without having a formal education, without having a computer science degree. And thank God for sites such as FreeCodeCamp, Coursera, Udacity that provide tech-related courses for free. I hopped in and started my journey in soft learning, improving, and more about the stacks tech. So fast forward in 2020, late 2020, I had finally upskilled and gained knowledge in Python and in data science, and I built some projects, some beginner-friendly projects, and I decided, okay, now that I've gotten the fundamental, now I've gotten the required knowledge to gain myself an internship. Now it's time to really look for the industry knowledge, of which it was something that I was lacking. So in my decision to look for an internship, I started sending out resumes to different companies, to different programs, and the responses that I usually got, some were not so good, it was a bitter pill to swallow. Most of the times, if I'm going to an interview, introduce myself and tell them about my background, then tell them that I'm a mother, the first response was like, "Oh, your skills are great, your background is great. I love how you have gone so far, but we have one objection. You're a mother. We don't have time to fully commit into the program." Of which I felt like that was a slap in the face. That's a bitter pill to swallow because, in as much as I'm a mother, I took the time to the initiative despite my responsibilities to self-learn, to grow my skill. I thought that would have come for something because it showed that I'm really dedicated. I'm really committed. I'm really willing to go an extra mile to get the skill. But not a lot of people, not a lot of organizations were willing to give a mother like myself the opportunity to gain that industry knowledge that I was eagerly and willing to gain. Secondly, some of the stereotypes, some of the stigma that I faced when I was looking for an internship was that I don't have the right qualifications or the skills. On top of being told that I was not ready to fully commit, I was told that there were a lot of candidates that were better suited than me that had gained like a 4-year degree. So what made me so special from someone who has less than a year self-learning? So those were the type of things that really broke me, honestly. It really sent me back. That really made me feel less of myself because I thought, okay, the world has changed. It's not the same as back then. So why is everyone shutting their doors on my face? They're not willing to give me an opportunity to grow and learn. And they're telling me that I'm a mother, I don't have time to fully commit. And yet I've dedicated myself in upskilling and making a career in tech on my own without having to go in formal education. I thought that it was something that I could count on. And I remember with my male counterparts that I started my journey with, they had gone forward. They had gained internship immediately after 6 months of planning. And for me, it took me a year to finally land an internship for myself. And if we look at the statistics, like even in 2022, you can see that only 26.7% women are currently holding tech-related jobs, of which when we look at how the communities and the society is poised to work against women and mothers alike. So back to what I was saying, that the male counterparts that I had started with on my learning, on my journey, I'm transitioning into tech. They had gone far ahead of me. They had gotten internships in a space of 4 to 6 months, and yet me as a mother, I was struggling to just land one internship, an interview, an opportunity. But I never stopped knocking at the doors. And also, if we look at the statistics, 50% women report that they face discrimination during hiring processes, of which I can attest to that because no one was willing to give me an opportunity. No one was willing to take the risk because they said, I'm a risk, I'm a mother, I'm a risk, because they didn't know if I will be fully dedicated, fully committed. But my male counterparts, they were not risk. They were the ones that they preferred, of which I felt like these biases were not meant to accommodate women, and they were not meant to accommodate mothers. So thank God someone took a risk and they hired me for a 6-month internship early 2021. I finally got an internship in a data science startup, and I learned my data science skills, and I learned how to perform, how to create sentiment analysis models, how to work NLP sector. And after the internship had ended, I got a great recommendation. I got a great reviews from my mentor, my from the internship and my employer. So now I decided, okay, it's now mid 2021. Let me look for a job. So during that time when I was looking for a full-time job, things did not work out the way that I thought, because still the same patterns that I faced when I was looking for an internship a year ago were still following me. I don't have the right qualifications. I don't have the right skills. I'm still lacking. And on top of that, I didn't have the financial input to buy myself a laptop. So no one was really willing like to give or to open their doors to say, okay, Tuli, we have come this far. Come, we will train you. We will help you. Even though when I found a job finally, I was underpaid. I was working long hours. Unlike my male counterparts, they were getting paid on time. I was not getting paid on time. I remember in the beginning of the year, my previous employer like held 2 months of for my pay, because I don't know why he did not feel like he did not feel like I am a priority to get paid in time. But if I had to ask my colleagues, they was getting paid in time, of which I felt like this biases, it was becoming too much. I was becoming too overwhelmed with the situation, and I felt like no, maybe tech is not really for me anymore, because the odds from the beginning, the odds were against me. And even now, when I'm trying so hard to get the experience, to get the industry knowledge, to make something out of myself, nobody's willing to give me the opportunity. When someone gives you an opportunity, they're taking advantage of me. They're not paying me. They're underpaying me. And yet I had to work long hours. I had to go an extra mile. So no one really like saw the potential, saw the skills that no one was willing to see beyond that. Okay, in as much as I'm a mother, I'm a woman, I can do better than the next person, than my male counterpart. So no one was willing to take that risk. So as I was in the verge of giving up, so one day I was scrolling on Twitter. I was just depressed. I was just depressed. I felt like giving up, throwing in the towel. And I didn't know that Google season of dogs had opened up. And I saw AsyncAPI and Alejandro were looking for interns for the Google season of dog program. And I decided, okay, because they were also, they were looking to support women in tech and people from the underrepresented group. Then I said, okay, let me apply and see if maybe they're willing to give me an opportunity, because I was really at the stage of throwing in the towel when I came across the tweet. And honestly, I did not have anything to lose. This was like, how can I say, it was the last kick. I was dying on, so it was the last kick. It was the last knock on the door. If it didn't work out, I was just gonna say, "Oh, bye bye, tech." This is what the decision that I had come up with. So when I went, when Alejandro sent me an interview mail and said, "Okay, you're gonna come and have an interview with us in API. We wanna hear about your background." And fortunately for me, during the period that I was while I was learning, I wrote blogs, I documented my journey. I used to write beginner-friendly blogs because I'm an introvert. So the best way for me to communicate is to write. So it worked on my advantage, actually. So when I went into interview, I gave my all. I gave 120 or 150%, because for me, it was the last straw. So I felt like whether I get through to the internship or not, whether I get to the program or not, at least let me give my all. And even if I throw in the towel, I will say I've tried everything. It did not work out, but I gave my best. So when I went to the interview, I gave my all. I prepared, I researched about Async API. I didn't even know Async API or anything related to event-driven architecture, or did I have any experience in technical documentation. But I just went there, really gave my all, and thank God the risk finally paid off. My all finally paid off. I got selected out of 200 plus applicants. I was selected as one of the 6 interns that were inducted in the Google Season of Dogs program. So this was where my big break came in. When I was in the verge of giving up, finally somebody, the community, decided to take a risk and say, no, we love how you've journeyed so far. Come, we will train you, we will mentor you, and we will give you the support that you need. And indeed, it was something that they kept their word, actually. I think API community had kept their word. My mentors are so awesome. I just want to give a shout out to Alejandro, to Lucas, and everybody that has supported me so far, because they've given me the love, the warmth, and they've helped me to grow my skills, my technical skills, my collaboration skill, my documentation skill. And I have improved so much that they even took the risk to say it doesn't matter if you don't have the right qualifications. We are willing to help you, of which is not a lot of people out there that will say that. So I loved how the community has welcomed me, they've mentored me, and even now I'm in a position to actually hold the next person's hand and say, I'm in a position to mentor the next person, because they have taken the risk, they have grown, they have given me the support, the love, and the embracement that I needed, that I lacked. And in despite of everything, they've given me so much support that I cannot even begin to describe. So also while working at Async API, I got the opportunity to learn and know more about event-driven architecture, how to document, how to attain technical feedback, and how to apply technical feedback to my dogs. I've learned how to collaborate. I've learned how to communicate, to over communicate. I've learned how to research better. I've learned how to structure my documentation. And I even learned how to create engineering diagrams using Name.js, of which it was something that I didn't even know. So at the end of the day, the community has been so supportive. Like the skills, the knowledge that I've gained in the Google Season of Dogs internship program has been so wonderful. Even me as a technical writer, as a technical documentation writer, I've gained so much knowledge. I've gained so much experience that I never even thought I would gain. And also, I would love you to tune into Alejandra's talk on Async API State of Dog, and you can hear the wonderful work that we have been doing behind the scenes at the Async API Dog. So I would encourage you guys to stay tuned and listen to the talk and hear the wonderful work that we've been doing. So in the final section of my talk, I want to highlight how us as open source individuals, as open source community can do better in supporting women, mothers, and people from underrepresented groups. So far, the communities are doing well, but in despite of that, there's still a long way to go. There's still a long road to go. I believe like we need to create more mentoring programs in each and every open source community. They shouldn't be limited to programs such as GSOC and Outreach. We need to create like more programs that accommodate people who are looking for experience, people who are looking to gain skills, people who are looking to gain knowledge, even though despite whether they have a degree or not, whether they come from the underrepresented community or not, whether they have the 5 years, 3 years experience or not, whether it's paid or not. But we need to have like those such programs that can say, okay, come into our open source communities, come and contribute. We're willing to mentor you. We're willing to guide you. We're willing to provide the resources and the knowledge for you to gain the skills so that you can go back and maybe in the working class and the for a job and be competent. And also, in addition to that, we need also to create awareness initiatives that gravitate towards the elimination of biases during hiring processes. As I highlighted earlier on, 50% of women who are applying for jobs, they face discrimination during the hiring processes, of which is something that women shouldn't be facing in this modern day and age. We are living in the 21st century. We are living in the fourth industrial revolution. Women shouldn't be women shouldn't be facing stigma, facing biases when hiring. Hiring should be fair. Hiring should be equal. In despite whether I'm a woman, I'm a man, or I come from this group, I come from this background, or I have this sort of degree. Only skills should matter. Only the skills that you possess should be something that qualifies you to get a job, not because of your gender, not because of your background. So I believe that open source communities can create awarenesses, can create initiatives to support women, to support people from other related groups, to help them and to create awarenesses and say, in despite of, okay, you are facing biases, maybe support these women, because some of the people decide to say, okay, I quit tech because I've been told I'm not good enough. I can never be good enough to be a working class. So I believe that us as open source communities, we can embrace, we can stand together and say, people shouldn't be doing that. Industries shouldn't be doing that and say that women are not good enough. Women are not meant to be felt like they're not good enough to get a job because they are not, because of their gender or because of their background. So these are some of the things that I feel like, as myself, like we as open source communities can do better at, can focus more better at. And thank you so much to AsyncAPI for the work that they are currently doing, mentoring people like me who didn't have, who when all the doors were shut, they decided to give me an opportunity. Who were saying, we are willing to mentor you, we are willing to support you, we are willing to give you the resources. And even today, as I'm speaking to you, I'm now in a capacity to hold the next person's hand and say, come join us in KPI, come and contribute to open source. We will help you, we will mentor you. These are the type of things that we should be doing as open source community, even though we are doing it now. But I believe that we can do much more and we can accommodate much more, and we can create awareness, we can create so many programs and initiatives that can drive towards that direction in helping women, in helping mothers, in helping people from underrepresented groups. And in that, I conclude my talk for today. And if you have any questions, suggestions, and anything that can help mothers, women in tech, or if you are an open source community that is willing to go above and beyond, or if you have anything to contribute, you can reach out to me on Twitter, on GitHub, or you can check me out on LinkedIn. And with that, I would like to say thank you so much for listening to my talk, and I hope I have provided great insights, and maybe you have learned a thing or two if you didn't know what other people are facing out there. And also, if you have any questions that you might have that I didn't clarify, or you need something to be clarified, or maybe if you just have something to say, you can reach out to me. Thank you so much for attending today's talk, and I hope to see you on the next talk. Thank you so much, and bye.